Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Hangout stream.
Rickles.
Recos.
That's my announcement.
Yes, we have merch. So if you want to check us out, go to D4Tress.com. You can see that there. Also has links to all of our socials. However, I will say, all of us are really bad at social media. So most of what you're going to find announcements-wise are going to be on the YouTube channel itself. And if I have to make an announcement, I'll usually go live for like 2 minutes. And then you'll just have that VOD of me going live, sharing the announcement. Just because, you know, social media is a fun, thriving experience. Don't you just love the sensible places like Twitter? Yeah.
I like the ghost cat though behind Bentley.
You mean it's X now?
Oh
Don't
yeah.
you forget it?
Yeah.
The only thing more toxic, my ex.
Get on my level. I'm such a virgin. I don't have an ex. Go figure. I make D&D content. Just kidding. No, but yeah. If you want to check out our merch store, just go to D4Tress.com. And if you would like to support us on Patreon, that allows us to dedicate more time to making content and everything, because we do have plans of making things like outside of these streams and everything. The hardest part is just finding time to dedicate to it, because you know we have day jobs and stuff that we have to focus on.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you'd like to help us realistically be able to dedicate more time, go ahead and support us on there. Another thing is all the background music and ambiance you'll be hearing is made by Tabletop Audio over at tabletopaudio.com. Absolutely incredible roster of things.
Not a paid sponsor, just giving him a shout out.
Not a paid sponsor, just giving him a very well-deserved shout out. Yes, because absolutely incredible stuff to kind of spice up your D&D games. So check him out if you haven't already. That being said, we're going to get into the meat and taters of what we're going to be doing tonight. So, on Sunday, we went in and we made a bunch of stat blocks for the Mur'sek people. Which are basically a walrus-like people, lovable, big chunkers. And we also want it to be a playable species to play as. So what we're gonna do before we start making things new, because we're only missing one, I guess, monster stat block for them. But we want to go in and fix a couple formatting things on the stat blocks we already do have, and also get Bentley caught up to speed because he was not there for the last stream. So we are going to do that next. We're just going to go down in alphabetical order.
Yeah, let's start with the playable race.
Yes. So we're going to go in right here. So the playable race here, the Mur'sek. So you get a couple really interesting things. So you get a swim speed equal to your walking speed. And you are...
Wait, show the before we go through, show the artwork so Bentley can see it, just to kind of get it in his head.
So yeah, so this is the artwork of the... Let me see.
Whaleborn. It was the first. It was a randomized monster that we created, and Erica drew it.
Yes, so this is a Whaleborn. So this is one that has gone through a ritual to make it giant kin. To make it a giant. So this guy is really big compared to the rest of them. The rest are medium-sized creature. But this guy is a huge-sized creature.
Okay.
But that's basically the vibe. So he's just one of these guys that's scaled up.
Yeah, basically they have shamans. He goes under rituals to do that, and he becomes like the major fisherman of
He's the
of
one.
the tribe.
Yeah, he's like the one that leads the fishing expeditions to hunt the giant sea creatures, your whales, giant squid, that kind of stuff.
Megalodons.
Yep. But basically, these people are they usually live in small coastal communities, very tight knit communities that put a lot of importance into community, family, all that kind of stuff. Swapping stories and just due to their nature, if they do leave home, you can often find them working as innkeepers, working in the food in the hospitality or food lines of work if they're not adventurers. Just generally very warm and jovial people. Obviously, given the fact that they are a sentient race of people, that also allows, you can occasionally encounter some bad eggs, ones that have given a banditry. There might be a tribe of them that is full on warmongering.
Warmongers, yeah.
Yeah, and so there is that chance, just given the fact that they are just people. But you get a couple interesting traits. So first thing is you get fur and blubber. This one is just due to the physiology of the Mur'sek. You have resistance to cold damage. You're used to these harsh climates going into glacial waters, so you have resistance to that. Damage. Very, very straightforward. Very useful. And all the monster stat blocks include this as well.
Yep.
Okay.
The next thing you get is powerful build. It is the same exact thing as that orcs get, that Goliaths get, that these bigger burly races get. Is basically you have advantage on the ability check to escape a grapple. And when determining your carry capacity, you can count as a large creature instead of a medium creature. So yeah, basically all the giantkin races, so Goliaths, Furbolgs, and then orcs also get that ability.
Because these guys are basically long descendants from sea giants.
Yes. And
Okay.
it's still a mystery of where their physiology broke off. So that's still up for scholarly
Poseidon
debate.
had sex with the walrus.
I was gonna say someone made love to a walrus somewhere.
Wasn't my uncle.
This one is the one that
It was
we
my
needed.
grandpa.
This is the one that we needed to there we go. This is the one that we needed to add on to right here. So this is the one that gives you your swimming speed. This is the trait that gives you your swimming speed. So your physiology lets you swim as fast as you can walk. During normal play, if your character does not have a swimming speed, then it's basically like difficult terrain for you. So you're moving at half your speed. Yeah, but one thing, we looked it up during the last stream. Walruses can hold their breath for up to 30 minutes, so all Mur'sek can do that as well. Which can be very niche, but also kind of useful, because what if you have to step through a thing of poison gas? That could also work. You just hold your breath, and you can hold it
What
for up
if
to
someone
30
tries
minutes.
to drown you and they just like, haha, he should be dead now, pop back up, punch him in the face.
Yep. So yeah, a neat little thing that you get to do. Other thing that you get is you get your tusks. So you get a tusk attack, which does 1d6 plus your strength. That you can do in
Exact
place
same
of
as like the lions doing the claws, me doing my horns as a minotaur.
Yep.
All that kind of stuff.
So they get to use their tusk attack. So yeah, so that is a thing, and then this one you get naturally resourceful. So basically, just due to the culture or anything like that, you get to choose one of 4 skills to be proficient in. You can be proficient in medicine, nature, perception, or survival. So you just get an extra proficiency for choosing to play Mur'sek. So that is the playable race. So mechanically not the most powerful, but definitely not bottom tier.
Dude, that cold resistance is awesome.
Specifically for our campaign, it would be insane. But if you're playing in like Dunathir, it probably wouldn't come up as much.
True. A lot more fire damage.
Yeah. But for setting specific in Tyrvis and honestly most of Caranal, because even a lot of I mean you would know, Andrew, because we did our home game in Atheus, which is the country to the west of Tyrvis, same continent.
A lot of cold
damage. Yeah, there's a lot of cold climate there. So if you're there or in Trustlet, yeah, you're
half
getting.
Our campaign was in winter, so yeah.
Yeah, so you could get quite a bit of stuff. We could also probably throw in a thing. We don't have to worry about it right now, but under the cold resistance thing, maybe because there are like mechanics for like bad inclement weather and stuff, and maybe if it's blizzards and stuff, you get like no penalties
I would
or something.
say, you know what you could do? Let's just go and add it right now. You get advantage on any survival checks in cold environments.
Okay.
Kind of like how Minotaurs have advantage on survival checks tracking anything.
Mm-hmm.
Or trying to figure a way out.
Yeah, I could see that. In cold and coastal.
Yeah.
Because, like we said that not all of them are in the cold places. So we were also thinking, just one thing, the ones that are in like the warmer areas, that migrate down to the warmer areas, maybe they have less of like they'll still be walrus-like, but they might get some otter-like features, so they're less blubber, more a thick fur. So, just a cool neat little thing. Just add a little bit of stuff. But yeah, so that is the player race. Now, what we need to do is, so we got the challenge rating incorrect. We were not calculating it right, but after the stream on Sunday, me and Andrew, we went in and we corrected all the stuff. Took us a little while. So the first thing we have here, in terms of encounters that you could possibly run across, we made a good amount of stat blocks, and we're only missing one. So, right here, we have the Mur'sek Berserker. So,
can you zoom in just once?
Like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, we have the Mur'sek Berserker. So, gets an AC of 13, has initiative of +1, average of 35 health, and it's most of these, unless stated otherwise, are just going to have the same 30-foot walk, 30-foot swim. And
just to make it a little more clear, I know we were going down in alphabetical order, but we should probably start from like the most base melee and then work our way up, and then most base magic casters and work our way up, just so that way the hierarchy is a little more clear.
All right. Okay. So let's do that. So we'll go over the melee combatants first, then the spellcasters, and then the ones that are created through the rituals, and then we can get into the one that we're missing.
Well, and then also the whatever the hunter falls into. I guess we can put it with the melee.
Yeah,
stuff.
he's a marshal. He's a marshal.
Yeah.
So the two most basic ones that you're going to come across is, so you have the skirmisher here. So, and just keep in mind,
your base foot soldier kind of thing.
So keep in mind all of these guys are going to have resistant to cold damage, And then, unless stated otherwise, they're going to have a 30-foot walk and 30-foot swim, so you can just assume that. And then they'll all have the ability to hold their breath for up to 30 minutes. So we can get all that out of the way, and then they'll all be able to speak Common and Giant. So,
Yep.
So that way we don't have to repeat ourselves. But yeah, so the Mur'sek Skirmisher. So these guys have an AC of 15, wearing hide armor and carrying a shield. Average of 20 hit points. And they carry hide armor, spears, shields, as well as a sling. They have a passive perception of 11. And basically, they're very simple. They do... they can hit with the spear, and they can hit with and then they can hit the sling. They get a +5 to hit. The spear does 1d6 plus 3, and the sling does 1d4 plus 1. So, very simple.
Like your basic bandit kind of stat block, but slightly more beefy, because they're a little more...
their physiology makes them a bit harder to take down.
Exactly.
So these are, like, the most common... foot soldiers and guards and stuff of the tribe. These are, if they have a militia and stuff, these aren't guys that have dedicated their entire lives to the art of combat. These are your basic run-of-the-mill soldiers. And so it's like, if you learn how to fight, this is where you start, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
The other one, the other most basic one, is you get your hunter. So these guys are a little bit less beefy. AC of 13, they're wearing leather armor. They get a +2 to initiative. They're only CR a quarter. They have a bit higher passive perception. These guys carry a longbow, a dagger, and then they have those attacks with it. No multi-attack or anything. If you get close, they can hit you with the dagger for 1d4 plus 2. And then with the longbow, they can do 1d8 plus 3. Although, we should change... I think that's a typo. It should be 1d4 plus 3, because that's still using the dexterity.
Yeah.
So let me fix that before I forget. So 1d4 plus 3. And so yeah, these are... They're the... like, obviously they will use them in combative situations if they have to. But these guys are usually not main combatants. These guys are, as they say, they are the hunters and gatherers. They'll go out and they'll hunt the surrounding wildlife within reason, because obviously with stats that low, they'll probably need several of them to take down something like a bear. But they, so they are the hunters. They'll track things down, and more the hunter-gatherer things of the tribe. And so we have that. The next step up in the martial, in the pure martial hierarchy, is you have the Mur'sek Berserker. So these guys are a little bit, these guys are beefier than the skirmishers. They're also kind of like the resident barbarians, I guess, of the tribe. So AC 13, they're a bit easier to hit with the skirmishers because they are not carrying a shield. They get +1 to initiative, average health of 35. And then, basically, they have a battle axe in their main hand, and then a bunch of... they can carry a hand axe in their offhand, and they'll have a bunch of extra hand axes, usually up to 6, so they can throw them if they need to. And so they can reckless attack, which is where it gives itself advantage on all attack rolls for its turn, and then until the start of its next turn, all attacks against it also have advantage. So these guys can reckless attack. And so these guys also get multi-attack. They can make 2 battle axe attacks as their main action, but they can also replace one of the battle axe attacks with throwing one of the hand axes. And then, so, the Battle Axe is gonna do 1d8 plus 4 slashing damage with a plus 6 to hit. And then the Hand Axe Throw has a normal range of 20 feet and a long range of 60 feet. And it does 1d6 plus 4. And then as a bonus action, they can do an offhand strike, so a melee hit with the Hand Axe. Or they can also bonus action do the Hand Axe Throw. So they can technically do throw 2 Hand Axes per turn. Obviously, until they run out. Because...
Yeah.
Yeah. So, a bit beefier, bit harder to take down. And will definitely cause a lot more damage before they go down. And then, after the Berserker, we're going to take a huge leap. An absolutely huge leap in difficulty.
Although, should we do...
that's part of the ritual ones. So,
right, but it is kind of related. I would say keep the brute with the melee.
Because then where would the Whaleborn fit in?
Just kind of as like a side awesome thing. More like a lore piece.
Alright. Well, then you have the brute here. So, the brute is one of the individuals that undergoes a ritual to be infused with spirits. And basically, these guys, they do get bigger and they do become giantkin. So their creature type is giant.
And they're large.
And they are a large creature. And they typically wield a hammer at the end of a chain. So, these guys have an AC of 14, a +2 to initiative, average health of 80, and these guys are challenge rating 6. So, pretty big leap up in difficulty. They get a +8 to athletics, and how they attack is very particular. So, so they get multi-attack, so they can make 2 chain hammer attacks, but they can replace one of the chain hammer attacks with either the grapple or a goring tusk. So the chain hammer gets a +7 to hit, has a reach of 20, and it will do 2d8 plus 4 bludgeoning damage. Now the thing is, if it hits you with that attack, it could then use its bonus action. As a bonus action, it can do Chain Pull. When the Mur'sek Brute hits a creature with its Chain Hammer, and that creature is larger or smaller, it can use its bonus action to force a creature to make a DC 15 Strength saving throw, or be pulled up to 20 feet straight toward the Brute. So it can pull you right up into melee combat with it. Right into there. And then it can do one of 2 things. So it can do its Brutish Grapple, which is another +7 to hit, and that's a reach of 5 feet. And then on a hit, you are grappled and restrained with an escape DC of 15. And it can only have 1 creature grappled at a time. So one creature...
Just imagine, like, one medium creature just in the arm while it's swinging the hammer around hitting everybody else.
Yep. And then, if it has somebody grappled... So, it has to have them grappled basically for a round, because it has to wait until its next turn until it has the option to do this. But, if you're still grappled by the time it gets to its next turn, then it can use this on you. It's Goring Tusk, which is for grappled targets only. +7 to hit, which since you're grappled and restrained, it'll have advantage on you. And it will do a 4d6 plus 4 piercing damage. So basically, it can grapple and just start impaling you with its tusks. So you can see these guys fight really savagely. Really savagely. And so these guys are almost like a little mini boss that go along with it.
And then the reaction.
Yeah, and so these guys are... Yeah, I'll get to that in just a sec. So these guys are used in... these guys are used specifically for combat things. So it's like, we need some strong soldiers. We're facing a threat. We're going to do this ritual to make a couple brutes. And so these guys are made primarily for defense and warfare. And dealing with larger larger threats. This isn't a ritual they undergo lightly. And then, of course, they get their reaction, Shrug Off Blows. When the Mur'sek is hit with an attack, it can use its reaction to halve the damage of the triggering attack. So, yeah. So, it's a beefy guy. He could shrug off damage. So, yeah. So, we got that. And then, the final martial combatant... this is, other than the one that we're missing, the one that we're missing is going to be a little bit weaker than this guy. But, you have the Mur'sek Chosen. There can only be one of these per tribe. So, the Mur'sek Chosen is the top tier champion of the tribe. This is somebody that has dedicated themselves to martial prowess and combat, to the point where the spirits that watch over the tribe basically follow this guy around, and he can call upon them in battle. And so
rather than I think that my favorite way that we described it, like the other ones had the rituals put on them, this guy was so impressive that the spirits blessed him without the shamans even interfering. They're like, hey,
yeah,
we like you, kind of a thing. So, like, this guy already has insane prowess.
There's a natural leader. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Exactly.
So, this guy is going to be all the way up at challenge rating 12. So, this guy is a beast.
He's a beast.
Yeah. So, he wears half plate, and we like to flavor it as a bunch of bone and stuff. Really well-crafted bone armor. Probably like whale and shark whale bones and like some like, you know, sea life things, just because it looks cool. So he gets an AC of 17, and he gets +6 to initiative rolls, average health of 140 feet, and then his speed and swim speed are 40 instead of 30. So this guy is a pure athlete. If you look across the stat block here, he's got really high strength at 20 and 18 con. His mental stats, he's got a nice 14 in dex. Mental stats, average intelligence, slightly above average wisdom, and a good charisma. So, like I said, natural born leader.
And intimidating.
Yeah, and intimidating. Passive perception of 14. Now, he has a special trait. The Mur'sek Chosen, he gets honed strikes. The Mur'sek Chosen can critically hit on an 18, 19, or 20. So he's going to be dishing out some serious damage. And, of course, he gets multi-attack. The Mur'sek Chosen makes 3 Great X attacks. It can replace one of these attacks with its, and then we forgot to add in, with its Chosen's Call. So let's just go and fix that real quick. We left that blank because we didn't know what we were going to call the ability. There we go. Okay. So yeah, with its Chosen's Call. So on the the Great Axe swing, it's a +9 to hit, and it's just gonna do the 1d12 +5 slashing damage, which is standard for a Great Axe. And it's but it can do that 3 times, and of course you have that chance of a critical hit. And then its Chosen's Call. It recharges on a 5 to 6. The Mur'sek champion calls upon the spirits that watch over his tribe to lash out at his enemies. All creatures of the Chosen's choice within 30 feet must succeed on a DC 17 Constitution saving throw, or take 4d8 radiant damage and have their movement speed halved until the end of their next turn. On a successful save, the target takes half damage only. So he gets this big old AoE where the spirits that have chosen him can just lash out and attack everything. And this could be whatever spirits watch over the tribe. Spirit of their ancestors.
Dude, it's like an
nature
enhanced spirit.
spirits.
It's like a burst of spirit guardians. I like
yeah,
that.
yeah. Look at that. Now, as a bonus action, it also gets the fighter's second wind. It can do this 3 times a day. So it can regain 1d10 plus 5 hit points and move up to half its movement speed without provoking opportunity attacks. So yeah, it gets that bonus action.
Just a fun way to make him chase down the party, kind of a thing.
And
get
then
some health back.
And then we just need to delete the things. It does not have any. We could probably give it a legendary action, with its thing being so high, but we can worry about that later, if we really want to or not. Maybe, nah. I would say this guy doesn't get it, but once we make the chieftain, the chieftain gets legendary action. So the chieftain is going to be weaker than this guy, less damage output and stuff like that, but things to more buff up his people.
Right.
So the chieftain is going to have a little bit, like, he's probably still going to be strong in combat, but not compared to this guy. This guy is the cream of the crop warrior.
We should also, just as a side thought, since we have the Whaleborn, we should also create like a Mur'sek fisherman or something stat block. Just so then that way, if you ever come in contact and you decide to fight a Whaleborn, you're likely going to be fighting some fishermen too, you know?
Well, the thing, well, no, it would be, the skirmishers would be out with the Whaleborn, because, you know, spears are good for fishing. Fishermen would just be commoners. It'd just be a commoner stat block, and it would be a Mur'sek. So they'd have resistance to cold damage, but you just have it be a commoner stat block.
Which we should still make, just to have. It'd be quick and easy.
Yeah, I guess we could. But yeah. And then just while we're on this, we have the Whaleborn. So this is another one that gets to go through the ritual. Not as combative as the Brute. This guy, there's typically only one per tribe, and this guy is basically like done as the head fisherman. So they'll go out on their longships with this guy kind of leading it, and while the rest stay on the ship with their poles and their spears and their harpoons, this guy is literally going to dive into the water and wrestle the sea life into submission. And so this is the guy that you use to hunt your whales, to hunt
he has a massive harpoon.
Yeah, with your massive harpoon. So he's a huge size. AC of 11, average of 90 hit points. Walking speed of 30 feet, but he does get a swim speed of 50 feet. And due to the ritual, rather than being able to hold his breath for 30 minutes, this guy can just straight up breathe underwater.
I like it.
And then, yeah, so he's got his harpoon, which if he hits you in melee, it does 2d8 plus 5. And then he can also throw the harpoon, and it does 2d6 plus 5. And then you need to make a strength save or be pulled into an unoccupied space within 10 feet of him.
Basically has like a rope or a chain attached to it.
Yeah, so he can fish you in. So this is the guy that you throw in when you're hunting a whale, and that whale needs to be suplexed. So
yep.
So yeah, so
less of a combatant, more of a
a
fisherman.
Yeah, so obviously if they need him, he'll join the fight to protect his tribe, because why wouldn't he? But this guy's sole purpose isn't for combat. It's for hunting. It's for hunting the bigger and as a result more valuable prey. Now, the next, then we have the spellcasters of the, we have the spellcasters of the tribes. So the lowest form of the spellcaster is the sage. So the sage, and we got to go and reformat this stuff. So, yeah, so the sage is typically leading a group of skirmishers. So to put it in perspective, so you have for spellcasters you have sages, shamans, and oracles. And so typically your standard platoon of Mur'sek that are going to be going out in expeditions and things like that are going to consist of 3 or 4 skirmishers, a sage, and maybe 1 or 2 hunters. And then if it requires a bit more combat, they'll probably throw in a berserker or two. And then if things get really dicey, they'll have a shaman accompany them. And then if it's going to war, that's when the brutes start coming out. And then basically the higher ranking people will show up more and more as the threat gets bigger and bigger. But this is basically your standard platoon leader, your spiritual guide platoon leader of a standard platoon that you'll just see doing their standard patrols around their territory and little hunting trips and stuff like that.
Well, and one thing I like that we did with all of the spellcasters is we didn't just give them a bunch of damaging spells. Like, obviously they have some, but part of the thing we also did is we gave them things that they could use that made sense, like things that they would use for survivability out in the cold, things that they would use to bless their tribesmen or things like that. Because, like, the idea is like these people, you could come across them and like, oh, hey, we're friends with these guys. You know, and like we could use their spells to our benefit, kind of a thing. And then it's like, all right, we pissed them off. Now they can hurt us, and they got those damaging spells too. So it's try to make it a little more balanced.
While we're fixing some formatting here, are they called Tide Sages or just Sage?
They're just called Sages.
Okay.
Depending on the tribe that they're in, because there is quite a bit of difference from tribe to tribe. So we figured we would make the most generic version, and then we can let dungeon masters kind of tweak it a little bit. So if it's a Tide Sage, let the DM come up with that, and then maybe add a couple more Tide water-based spells and whatnot. But this is like your generic version, your standard. So just a sage.
Because in that trait description, calling them Tide Sage.
Oh, it
felt a little inconsistent.
Oh yeah, no. Thank you for pointing that out, because
we did call it Tide Sage and we changed it.
Yeah, we changed it later to that. So that was just something we didn't fix. So good eye on that.
I figured, like, if we're fixing formatting, there's part of it.
Yeah.
Right. No,
yeah. I would not have noticed that.
Little things. Call any little things that you see.
Yeah. I was actually like, oh, I'm impressed, because that was the same idea we had originally. I'm like, dang, we're on the same wavelength.
Whoa.
No, I just didn't fix it.
I
thought the same thing too. I was
no,
like,
that was not
man.
an original idea. I was just reading what was on the screen.
I will say, now that I'm thinking about it, though, calling it a Tide Sage, I think, other than the...
it does fit.
It does fit, but, like, with the abilities we gave them, like, a Tide Sage would be a bit more of a specialized one that, a bit more of a specialized one. And so, and we didn't want to overwhelm, because otherwise, once we, compile all the monsters together, we don't want like 30 different Mur'sek things. We want some simplification of it. So basically, we'll kind of leave in the description of the overall Mur'sek things, once we format it into a more book-like format and put them together. We'll probably just put in the description, some may specialize in this, and you may want to give them this. So little tools for DMs.
Yeah.
Yep.
So there's all that kind of stuff. But basically, their spell save DC is 13, and they get a +4 to hit with spell attacks. And so they go up to 2nd level. So for cantrips, they get Druidcraft, so that way they can help them survive out, make plants, light fires, things like that. And then they get Gust and Ray of Frost. And then
if you're out on a shift and you're just like, I'm just gonna put a little bit of Gust, just a little wind effect, help the ship go further.
Yep.
Mhm.
And then, of course, at first level, you get Bless, Healing Word, and Ice Knife. Things to keep his platoon alive and support them. And then at second level, you get Gust of Wind and Summon Beast. Gust of Wind, just a stronger version of Gust. So make a big old wind tunnel if they really need to get zoom in on that boat. And then, of course, Summon Beast, something to call on a spirit animal to help them in combat. And then...
And these guys are going to be a little bit more up in your face, too.
Yeah. So they do get a mace. They do get a mace and a shield. And they don't get multi-attack, but basically they get a +3 to hit, 1d6 +2 bludgeoning damage. So yeah, so that is kind of what they get. Their wisdom is high, strength, dex, and constitution all at 14. Wisdom's at 16, and then the other mental stats are a little bit lower. Nothing
And
below 10. But
and they're just a little bit above the skirmishers, so like their health is pretty low and everything.
yeah. Let me double check what their health was.
I think it was like 26.
28. Yeah.
28.
So yeah. So
they're not meant to be like crazy. They're only challenge rating 2.
Yeah. So in terms of chain of command, they would be in an average platoon. They would probably outrank a berserker, but because they've got the wisdom and they're kind of like guides, things like that. But it is good to see. But the berserker would probably pose a little bit more of a challenge depending on the spells it casts.
Yeah,
and at least a 1v1. And then the next up, these spellcaster ones get pretty big leaps. So next up, you have the shaman. So we're going
this is supposed to be on like the level of the brute, basically.
Yeah. So this guy gets a pretty big gap in strength. So they get up to CR7. And let me just go like this. Boom. Boom.
Yeah, so with these guys, they're gonna be a lot more of like your base spiritual leaders kind of a thing. Like they'll help out if needed, like Gavin was saying, but they're gonna be the ones casting those rituals to create the brutes, to create the wellborn. You're more I guess your local bishop is the best way I can think of it, kind of a thing, where it's so they're a lot more powerful than the sages.
Yeah, and these guys are very much these guys also have a lot more combat based spells as well. These guys will 100% go out into the fray of a war. Like, yeah, so these guys do train in war magic and stuff like that.
Yep.
So basically, these guys get a spell save DC of 15 and a +6 to hit with spell attacks. And it has... So for cantrips, it's got Guidance, Ray of Frost, and Shillelagh. And it also... there's also 2 different attacks. So the quarterstaff attack it gets, or if it has Shillelagh cast, the damage you do instead. And then, yeah, it's got an AC of 15, hide armor, and a shield. They have that staff, but the real
60 hit points.
Yeah, 60 hit points, pretty beefy. So these, but yeah, where these guys shine is in their spell list. So of course you have their cantrips, which are Guidance, Ray of Frost, Shillelagh, and then it has 4 first level spell slots, and it knows Cure Wounds, Ice Knife, and Witch Bolt. So we're going for a little bit of all kind of like not just water and stuff, but kind of storm.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of storm going. And then at second level, get a little bit of utility with Animal Messenger, so they can communicate over long distances. And then they also get Rhymes Binding Ice and Spiritual Weapon for combat. They get 3 second level slots, and then they get 2 third level spots, and this is pure combat. They get Lightning Bolt and Tidal Wave.
That's cool.
And so...
Which are both awesome.
That's pretty sweet.
So yeah. So if one of these guys joins the fray, you're in for a world of hurt. You are in for a world of hurt. But yeah. So these guys outrank the sages and everything, and they are, they're pretty darn strong. But they're basically just the sages, but better. And then we are going to make another huge leap all the way up. This is the magical equivalent of the Chosen.
It's basically like their local prophet. This is the elder of the tribe who is guiding the chieftain kind of a thing.
This person has the spiritual and magical guide of the...
There's really only ever going to be one per tribe.
Yeah, and if there is more than one per tribe, then you've got one massive tribe on your hands.
Right. But
or multiple tribes working together or something.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so think of these guys as just your basically like full on like divination and just ultimate spellcasters of the tribe kind of a thing. They're every sense of what an oracle, like what you would think of when you think of an oracle kind of
thing. And we're also going to we don't want to include everything in the stat block, because once again, we want to keep it like more simple, easier to play. But I would encourage DMs using this stat block to include like even more divination spells if they really want to lean into it. And so this one, given their culture, on average, these guys are, unless you're like, these guys are meant to be fighting alongside a party, is kind of our idea for it. Fighting alongside the party. And so you may want to, there might be a, so we were thinking there might be a story reason why the party would want to seek out
the Oracle.
The party would want to seek out the Oracle to do something if they don't have divination stuff themselves.
Which some of those will be you'll see in some of the spells that we'll go through.
Yeah. So their spell save. These guys, their challenge rating 12. So their challenge rating is on the same level as the Chosen. So you get DC spell save DC 17 and +8 to hit with spell attacks. And here are its spells. So it's cantrips. It's got Elementalism, Frostbite, and Guidance. So really a damage one, a utility one, and of course one that is very divination like.
Well, and the kind of the thought we had, like all the ones that like buff people, so guidance, bless, etc. It's because it's that divination coming in of she knows what's going to happen is going to help them succeed, kind of a thing. Or he, it doesn't really matter. But it's kind of like that divination coming into play.
Yep. And then for first level spells, which it gets 4 slots, it's got Bless, Create or Destroy Water, Frost Fingers, and Witch Bolt. So once again, that buff, a utility, and then 2 damaging ones. For second level, which it has 3 spell slots, it's got Healing Spirit, so it can just really keep the troops going. Rave Enfeeblement, it can really mess up your primary martial fighter. And just, you get a -D8 to all your damage on strength-based attacks. And of course, Rhyme's Binding Ice, slow you down, stick you in place, do a ton of ice damage. At 3rd level, you get Call Lightning, just to destroy enemies. Mass
Which
Healing.
I love the
Yeah.
Call Lightning.
Mass,
Such a good spell.
Yeah, Mass Healing Word, which obviously keep the troops going. And then Wall of Water, a very powerful, just battlefield control, you ain't getting close spell. You can't shoot through it, things like that. 4th level, you get, which is also 3 slots. You have Divination, Oracle. So this might be what you're seeking out the Oracle for, to divine something for you. You need information. And then, of course, Summon Elemental. Just another powerful, oh crap button. I need more bodies on the field to protect people. And then, of course, you also get 5th level spells, which the Oracle gets 1 slot. So they get Control Wind, which is a very powerful wind spell of, it doesn't do damage, but you can literally knock flying things out, completely negate like ranged attacks and everything like that.
Or you can buff it where it's coming, the wind is coming from underneath, and everyone has a higher jump, and they don't take fall damage.
Yeah, and so it can be used to,
stuff.
Yeah, so just really unique and interesting battlefield control. And then Greater Restoration. You missing an arm? Now you're not.
You have a cursed item that you can't get off. This undoes that curse. Stuff like that. So it's like there's a lot of things just baked in with those spells that it's like, oh, this guy would be worth seeking and getting in the good favors for to benefit the campaign.
And then in terms of other actions, it only has 10 strength and doesn't typically carry a weapon, so it's got its Tusk attack, but it's just a flat D6, no modifiers. But another thing it can do with its action is called Spirit Rally. Recharges on 5 to 6, and the Mur'sek Oracle rallies the surrounding spirits to protect its allies. Up to 5 creatures of the Oracle's choice within 60 feet gain 10 temporary hit points. Additionally, their armor class is increased by 2 until the temporary hit points are depleted. So yeah, just falls upon that. And it also gets a special reaction. Seer Sight. When a creature within 60 feet of the Mur'sek Oracle makes any roll with advantage or disadvantage, the Oracle can use its reaction to cancel out the advantage or disadvantage, making it a normal roll. So, yeah.
To either help or hinder.
Help or hinder. Yep. And so, yeah, AC of 16. The spirits go and protect it. 120 average hit points. And just solid stats around with a higher wisdom. And proficiency wisdom saving throws. All that kind of stuff. So that is the whole lineup. The only one that we're missing is the Chieftain. That's the only stat block that we're missing. So we're going to do that real quick before we start making the other facets of the Mur'sek. So we're going to go into here, create from scratch. So we're going to do the Mur'sek Chieftain. So we want this guy to be strong and beefy, but not quite as powerful, like in a 1v1 as a Chosen or Oracle. This guy will not be a spellcaster. This guy will not be a spellcaster, but he probably can do some things with the spirits. And so we kind of want to go for somewhere in the range of a challenge rating 8 to 10. So still really strong, but not quite as...
Slightly below the Chosen. Well, I was thinking, too, one thing we could do is, because we were talking about, like, giving them some kind of... Their weapon being some kind of, like,
badge of
spiritual
office.
Significance, badge of office kind of a thing. So it could be, like, ornate hook, and you could, like, put it in there under the thing. It's just, like... it could be a hook, an anchor, you just like throw out a list of, like, in parentheses, a list of possible looks depending on what the DM wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what we could do is have that be a magic item, and so then it does. It's like, oh, this recharges on a 5 or 6, or things like that, where it has some kind of magical ability to the weapon that he can use, and then the players can that could be a magic item that that we could add afterwards.
So, yeah, I think there is a way. I know some of the official magic items have a way, so it's not so I'll show you an example. Game rules, magic items, weapons. So you have let's see. So it's like you have a Hellfire weapon, or let's see, Enspelled weapon, where it can be any weapon, technically speaking. So we could totally do that. Dragon's Wrath weapon any, and then varies, requires attunement, and so it's like. So I don't know how we would program that. We can try and figure it out, but it can potentially be any weapon. But obviously with the monster stat block, we'll want it to have like a set amount of damage. And then
I would say we could limit it to be like a war pick, great hat, a maul, a staff.
Basically what I'm meaning is when it comes to attacking with the weapon, we'll just want one attack action, but it can be
right.
But it can be any weapon that the DM wants.
Right.
But yeah. So
basically use descriptive, or in the equipment thing you could do typically anchor, staff, hook.
Yeah.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, where we can it could probably be under the traits thing, but first things first, let's give it its marine biology. And all Mur'sek can hold their breath for up to 30 minutes. Okay. So let's go into the stats. So this guy, I'm gonna say 16, and stop me if you think this needs to change. 16 strength, 14
I think it should be
dex.
18 strength.
18?
Because a brute has 18.
Yeah. Just trust me on this. It's because once again, his stuff won't be coming from his raw physicality. It's going to be coming from his connection to the spirits. That's why he's the chieftain.
Yeah.
Unless the DM chooses otherwise, maybe then the DM could be like, oh, the chosen usurped power, now the chosen is the chieftain of it.
Yeah.
Or they'll make it their own stat block. But so 16, 14, 16, 12, 14, and then 18 charisma. He's a charismatic leader.
I like that.
He's above average intelligence and decently wise.
I'd say proficiency in constitution and charisma.
Okay. And then, of course, resistance to cold damage. Okay. And let's go into here.
Should he have bone armor too?
Yeah, I'm thinking he gets some decent armor. So let's take a look at that. So let's see. Let's see.
Maybe he's got like a magical breastplate or something. 16. That would put him at 16. If he had half plate, that'd put him at 17.
Yeah, which we want him to be slightly weaker. So I'd say let's give him some scale mail. And maybe it's like some sea creature scales.
I like that. Scale mail or breastplate?
Scale mail. He doesn't need
Yeah.
to be sneaky.
True, true. More for show.
Alrighty, and then let's go like this. Pull up the... So he's medium size, so it's going to be D8. So let's go with like a... it was just 8 plus 25.
For help.
Yeah.
I would say probably shoot for... Because the Oracle has 120, and the Chosen has 140, right?
Yeah.
I would give him more health than the Oracle. But less than the Chosen. Maybe like 125.
You just do 130, 20 D8 plus 40 health.
Yeah.
There we go. And we can give him pass and perception of 14. Okay. Then, of course, we have the... scale, mail, and the spirit collar weapon.
I like that.
Okay. So, we'll go like
Then
this.
under traits, we can put Spirit
Yeah.
Caller Weapon.
Yeah.
A magical symbolic weapon. And then in parentheses, i.e., a large hook, or an anchor, or a staff, etc. Very wildly based on the DM's. Of the tribe.
There we go.
I like it.
All right.
We should, by the way, in the songs, we should skip to the next one. This one's a little too peaceful. I want something a little more intense for a boss.
Yeah, I'm already tired.
I know, this is too relaxing.
All right, let's go like this. Storm at sea.
There we go.
Okay. So.
Yeah, this is getting me better in the creative mindset. I like it.
Okay. So, for actions, it's gonna get multi-attack. So I'm thinking the spirit collar weapon will do its the Spirit Caller weapon will do its like normal physical damage, and then it'll do radiant damage on top of that.
I like that.
I like it.
So let's go like
It does cold damage. That way it doesn't affect any of their people. Hopefully they don't go to war with each other.
Alright, so it's gonna be melee, so let's just go. Spirit Caller weapon, so melee weapon attack. Let's do a +8 to hit. It's in melee, reach 5 feet. It is one target. And should it be a...
Maybe 2d6? Like a greatsword?
If we're going like a... I would say like, in terms of stat block, let's go as if it was like a medium weapon. He doesn't get a shield, so let's do 1d10.
Like it's a versatile?
Like a versatile weapon or a pike or a halberd kind of a thing.
Which
So, yeah.
does it do 1d12?
Now, 1d10.
I'm fine with that because it will also do radiant damage.
1d10 plus 3. We'll go like... Flashing. Bludgeoning.
Or piercing.
Sing. DM's choice damage. Plus... Alright, and let's see... What are we thinking? 2d8, 3d8?
About 3d6 radiant.
Okay. D6. Radiant damage. Okay. Awesome.
I like that.
Okay, and then average of 3d6, I believe, is going to be 12. Then 1d10,
Yeah.
average of 9.
Which is 9. No ranged attacks.
Maybe he can, maybe he can call upon one of the spirits to attack.
I don't think he should have a ranged attack, but he should have something to buff his allies.
That could be under legendary actions, is his ally
Fair,
buff.
fair. Well, what would, I don't know, what do you think, Bentley?
Like, basically the ranged attack could be he only does that 3d6 radiant damage.
I mean, I kind of like that, to be honest.
You have it.
Yeah.
Let's do it then.
So Spirit Caller weapon and Spirit Call. Plus 8 to hit. Range is...
Just 30 and 60?
Yeah,
or...
30, 60.
Well, question is with the spirits, is it because the thing with the having the disadvantage range means you're casting it, like you're shooting it at them. Is he doing it where he's like it's coming from him and he's launching it at him, or is it the spirits are all around and he's just calling them to attack?
I feel like he's they're like the Spirit Caller weapon is like a
Like a smite?
Yeah, it's like a channel for the spirits to go out. So I feel like he's actually having the spirit energy come out. It's probably not the like a spirit itself coming out of it, but like the spirit energy being fired out of the weapon.
Okay. I get behind that.
So yeah.
So yeah, in that case, we do want to have the disadvantage range.
Yeah, so one target, and on a hit, 12, and it's just going to purely do the 3d6.
Radiant.
Damage. Okay. It can make 2 spirit color attacks. It can replace. Well, hello.
Hi.
It can replace.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Good to see you. We're working on some of the Mur'sek stuff.
The
Ooh, nice.
color.
I didn't have Zoom open, so I was like looking at the chat. I'm like, who's that? Also, I heard your voice. I was like, oh, hey.
Actually, let's go like this. Can make 2 attacks. Can make 2 attacks of any combination of the spirit collar weapon or spirit collar. The Mur'sek Chief can make 2 attacks of any combination of the spirit collar weapon or spirit collar.
That way I could do 2 spirit calls at 1 to 2.
Yeah.
I like that.
We're making the Mur'sek Chieftain, Erica.
Yeah.
No,
we
she
just went through.
She
Oh, she'll probably be in and out. Her internet is very spotty.
Yep.
Yeah.
We're still happy that you're here, though.
Okay. Should he get any... so we got his attacks. Should he get any other... oh, there she goes. Should he get any other main actions that he can do?
Yeah, we'll have a legendary action of, like, kind of like a buffing your ally kind of a thing.
And I think he should also get a bonus action where he can buff one specific ally.
Right.
Speaking of which,
I mean, I have an idea for the legendary or mythic action if they...
Yeah?
Probably won't do mythic actions, because mythic actions are for things... Basically how the mythic actions work, I believe that got added in the Icewind Dale, or whatever it's called, the very ice-themed thing. And basically a mythic action is you deplete this thing's health bar, now it gets a new health bar, and then it has access to its mythic actions. I don't think the Chieftain will get that, but it will get legendary actions. But, let me, so let me do this here. It can do a bonus action. So let me type it out. The Mur'sek Chieftain can choose an ally that it can see within
30 feet?
Within, 30 feet. And, can choose an ally that it can see within 30 feet. And command it to attack. Ally can use its reaction to make an attack against a creature it can see within range.
Now only the attack action, or would we allow spell casting too? Probably not. That's a little too much.
Little too much, because that's basically casting a spell with a bonus action.
Right. Yeah, I think, especially where it's a bonus action, not a reaction. Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
and then they have to use their reaction to do it.
So he, as his bonus action, can essentially command one of his clan to sacrifice their reaction to make an attack, basically.
Yep.
Right.
Exactly.
I
So
like it.
they can just make an attack whenever they want, kind of thing. I like that a lot.
Yeah. So he's got that, and then... So basically, they don't have to wait for an opportunity attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
Alright, and then... any special reactions that he does...
One thing is I think, what if he had a legendary resistance because of the spirits and everything?
That would be down below. That wouldn't be.
I know.
reaction.
It's not in the reactions. It just came up into my head.
Yeah, I would say he could get like maybe 1 or 2.
2. Yeah.
'Kay.
Legendary resistance.
But any special
What?
reactions?
Reactions. Outside of opportunity attack.
Maybe he can do a spirit shroud, and when he receives damage, he can use his reaction to reduce the damage by a couple die.
Okay, I like that. Use the reaction to reduce the damage by 1d8.
Nah, if he's a boss monster, it'd be more than that. Maybe it's by the same amount of radiant damage you can do 3d6.
Dude, this guy is gonna be way scarier than the Chosen with this. But I like the vibe that we're going for. I'm personally okay with the Chieftain being slightly more than the Chosen.
Well, we'll see how it is, because it can do because there's we'll see how it is when it calculates out. Yeah, Spirit Shroud. So it can do maybe he can also protect allies as well. His whole thing is dedication to his people. So he can basically channel the spirit. So it's him or a creature he chooses within 30 feet.
When
the Mur'sek
Yeah, I like that.
chieftain or a creature of the chieftain's choice with that it can see within 30 feet takes damage. It can use its reaction to reduce damage by 12. What's his charisma modifier? 4? Okay. 12, 16, 3d6 plus 4.
And that's once per turn, you can just negate someone's attack.
Yeah, it's like Pax's interception, but he has to be within a certain range.
I like it.
And it's only one instance of damage, so if you're doing, several attacks, it only counts as one attack. But when it's because when it takes damage, you can protect him from theoretically anything, not just attack rolls.
Yep.
I
like that.
So that's its basic. Things.
What was it that you had on your mind, Bentley?
I was thinking maybe as a legendary action, but it has limited uses, or maybe only like one use. But I was thinking like spiritual ascendance or something, and like he can in the heat of battle, maybe a certain condition has to be met, but he can like sacrifice his remaining health to create a chosen or something like that. I don't know.
Ooh.
Or just, you know, create a chosen on the spot if there isn't one already in battle.
That would be crazy.
That would be insanely powerful, but that would be more under the traits. So how legendary actions work, I realize you haven't fought in anything with legendary actions yet.
Nope.
So how they work is legendary actions. So let's say actually, let me just pull up something that has a legendary action.
And then just think, the combat scenario is it goes Belden, Rake goes Ghost, Monster.
All right. So let's take a look at this. The Ancient Amethyst Dragon. Legendary actions. The dragon can take 3 legendary actions, choosing from the options below. Only one legendary action option can be used at a time, and only at the end of another creature's turn. The dragon regains spent legendary actions at the start of its turn. So this thing, so your legendary actions recharge at the start of your turn. Imagine they're like extra reactions, and
Yeah.
so they get a 3.
Well, they have the different effects at different costs.
Exactly.
Okay.
And then yeah. So basically, so you take your turn, and then let's say it's Belden and then Ghost. Yeah, Belden's turn and then Ghost turn. So Belden finishes his turn, and then this guy can interject one of these legendary actions in between your guys' turns.
Okay.
And so basically, legendary actions allow them to act outside their turn, and then they regain those legendary actions afterwards. Okay, and that's where legendary resistances go under traits. Okay. So I'm just actually going to copy that and paste that into here. And we'll do this too today. If the Mur'sek chieftain fails a saving throw, it can choose to succeed instead. There we go. Gets 2 a day.
Cool.
Alrighty. Then,
What if you had the spiritual, that launching the spiritual damage as a legendary action instead? So he's just casting out radiant damage while he's as a base legendary action.
He's probably definitely going to be stronger than the
we'll see. We'll see if he ends up being
my
stronger.
bet is
than
yes. I think we're gonna be hitting like, I think we're gonna be hitting
13 or 14.
I think we're gonna be hitting 14 challenge rating. What do you guys think? So let's play some non-financial bets.
Right, the Mur'sek is 2 legendary.
Well,
It can only take these actions.
So the
at
chosen
the
is a
end
12.
Of
the chosen is 12.
Yeah.
So probably 13.
creature's turn, and it regains all spent
I think it might even be a 14.
at the
Yeah, 14 is what I'm thinking.
start of
I'll be the
its
naysayer.
turn.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so it has 2 legendary actions. So this will be the one. This will be the one where it can do
Spirit Call.
Spirit
That way-
Call.
It just gives it a little bit more flavor, like doing that on a as a legendary action.
Yeah, we'll go like this. Boom. Spirit Call. Costs 1 action. Costs 1 action. There we go. Should it be able to do its melee attack as well? As a legendary?
I don't see why not.
And
Do we need something that costs 2?
I know what I wanted to do. This will be the thing that makes him really scary. So we are going to call it. We are going to call it Rally. Because like we said, this guy is meant to be fighting alongside his people. But just keep in mind, this could also be he's fighting alongside the party. The party is helping defend the tribe. So imagine this. So it costs 2 actions. And it's Sec Chieftain chooses 3 creatures within 30 feet other than itself. Other than itself. Each creature gains advantage on all attack rolls until the end of the until the start of the chieftain's next turn. So he can choose 3 things to give advantage.
Imagine having like a corrupt chieftain, and you have the help of the Oracle to take him down. So she's canceling out the advantages and stuff.
That's great.
So are you guys cool with that? Because that seems really strong.
I would say 2 rather than 3.
2? Because he can't give it to himself.
I don't know. What do you guys think? 3 seems like a bit much.
3 is too scary.
Okay, 2 creatures it is. Maybe he gives it to his chosen and the Oracle. You're fighting the trifecta.
No. Right, and should it be all attack rolls or its first attack?
For 2 legendary actions,
I'm indifferent. I feel
like with this thing being as powerful as he is, I feel like if it's literally for 1 attack, why wouldn't you just do 2 extra attacks? Because that means Rally would be completely outclassed by the other 2 legendary actions.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he'll be wanting to do Rally the whole time until he's out of allies, and then he'll be using his attacks. Okay, so we got that.
Alright, go back up. We got legendary resistance, spirit call weapon, spirit shroud, command of the chief,
monster type, humanoid, and alignment. Any alignment. There we go. And okay. Only thing we need to do is add in calculate the challenge rating.
I like this guy.
Okay. So, hit points. What does he have? What do we give him? 130.
130.
AC of 16. Constitution is...
What was it, 16?
Yeah.
Or is it 14?
Constitution 16. There we go. Alright, damage per round. So we have to include his potential damage of his spirit weapons. So, most damage he can do is definitely going to be...
max.
Is definitely going to be... his highest damage combo is literally going to be the spirit
call weapons.
Spirit call weapons. So 9 plus 12 Average of that is 21, and he can do 4 of
Times
those.
by 4,
84.
84.
So he can potentially get to 84 per round, and then his attack bonus was +8, I believe.
Yep.
Yep, +8 to hit. He does not do any saves. He does have 1 resistance. Cannot fly. He's got 2 save proficiencies. Okay. Now let's see what things that he got.
Does it include a legendary
Yeah,
stuff?
we're going through aggressive, no. Ambusher, no. Gel weapons, no. Avoidance. Nope, does not have that. Blood frenzy, nope. Constrict, no. Damage transfer, nope. Enlarge, no. Frightful presence, no. Heated body, no. Horrifying vision. Legendary resistance, yes, and it's got 2. Magic resistance, no. Martial advantage. Creature can deal extra damage to a creature. Nope. Nimble escape. Nope. Pack tactics.
Should we include
Maybe.
that?
Maybe
Maybe
we'll see. We'll see what it's like with and without.
Yeah.
Parry, possession, regeneration. No. Relentless. No. Shadow stealth. Nope. Stench. Nope. Spear invisibility. Nope. Undead fortitude. Nope. Web. Nope. Okay, so it's got 13 without, and with it, it's still 13 on both.
Oh, Erica was right.
Erica wins!
Yay!
Well, I like how it's weaker in some ways, and stronger in a lot of others. So, it wasn't exactly
Wow.
what I had in mind, but I am happy with how it turned out.
I
it a
like
lot.
it.
Pretty
Yay.
cool.
And, of course, skills. He is going to be proficient in...
Acrobatics. Oh, shit.
No. He is going to be
He's just doing
proficient
flips.
in
You're getting a bless, and you're getting an advantage.
persuasion.
Yes.
And
Base value is +4, an additional bonus 5. No, 4. What do you think?
I don't know what the additional bonus is.
So basically, the base value is like, so his charisma is 18, so it's a +4, and then we're adding extra on top of it for a total of 8.
Mm.
It was like just giving him an extra thing and saying, hey, he's really good at it. Pretty good at intimidation.
Yep. Okay. Let's see how the stat block turned out on the actual thing.
Did you give him the movement speed?
Oh yeah, need to do that too. Mur'sek Chieftain. So yep, he gets +8 to intimidation, performance, and persuasion.
Speed and languages.
Yep.
Yep. No, he's a mute. Also, he's in a wheelchair. And the bad part is his throne is on stairs, so he
We're
can't
just
move
we're just
anywhere.
fighting a totem pole, a statue.
Yeah, exactly. I don't like the way he looked at me.
Alrighty.
And then languages.
Yeah.
Giant. He speaks giant eagle.
There we go.
Numbers are-
Awesome. That's a Mur'sek Chieftain done and dusted.
Nice.
Okay. So, we have gotten that. That is pretty much all the Mur'sek stat blocks done. But,
Go into the chosen real quick.
oh, hold on.
Yeah.
Why?
Do you want to get rid of the
Oh, yeah.
extra stuff?
He's also a mute.
Yes. Yeah, at his
I wish if you
languages.
didn't have those boxes checked, it just defaulted to have them empty rather than.
Right.
Yeah.
Then if you check them, then it can autofill and you like replace the text.
Uh-huh. That would be a better way to program it for sure.
Okay.
That would be nice.
So, now that we have gotten that, next thing we are going to do is, because the stat blocks are the only things that make the monster, or that make the people. There are a couple things that we also need, because any culture is going to have some magic items.
Woohoo!
So we are going to do the Spirit Caller weapon. Rarity is probably going to be very rare. Item type weapon. Base weapon. Is there any way to do...
Just do yes.
Harpoon or
It is a based weapon.
It is required. I can't see what the options are. It's because it doesn't show the. Oh, it does on Zoom, but it's just hard to read.
In order to attune to it, you have to have the blessing of any Mur'sek tribe.
How do you get their blessing? I killed their chieftain.
Maybe?
Who died and made you chief?
That lady. She called herself Aura Cal. So maybe give them the...
I just want to see if it'll let me... Must select a weapon type. Dang.
Well, you could do a couple of variations where it's like Spirit Caller weapon, maul, Spirit Caller weapon, mace.
Yeah.
Or things like that.
Okay.
Radiant.
And how much damage should the player version do? Should it still be the 3d6 and we just make it a legendary thing, or...
No, I'm more fond of the items that can be used at lower levels.
Mm-hmm.
1d6.
Now, does it just do an extra, just add it on always? I think so.
Yeah, there's Flame Tongue weapon. Then I will be right back. You guys discuss because I feel like it should do. I feel like it should do one. I feel like it should do one other thing that you could probably do with your action. So you guys discuss. You guys discuss what it is. I'm gonna run to the restroom while you discuss something else you can do related to what the chieftain can do.
Well, I was thinking, so we could either have it do the spirit call ability, where you can shoot out that thing and make it limited per day, just for an extra 3d6, or limited per long rest or something. No, probably per day. To do that ranged attack, the 3d6, or we could do that spirit shout reaction, limit like 2 per long rest or something, where you can reduce your incoming damage by 3d6.
I like the shootout.
That sounds bad. I mean, we could also do both if we wanted to.
Would that be overpowered?
Probably.
Probably.
Well, 3d6, because the thing is if you do that, it would completely replace your damage, which a maul, that it's like, so that 3d6 radiant, this is attached to a maul right now, so you're already doing 3d6 damage. It's just the difference is like, oh, I can do it at a range kind of a thing. Because with the maul, you're doing 2d6 bludgeoning plus your modifiers plus the 1d6 radiant, so that's already 3d6. So I think the more niche one is reduce the incoming damage, because it's just a reaction, just boom, and
That's fair.
and just do like also it's a little more unique, I feel like, given a lot of weapon stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In our Paragon campaign, do you remember how much damage that ram ring did that Amelia had? It was a lot. Wasn't it like up to like 5d10?
6?
But like it was a crazy amount, I feel like, wasn't it? Because usually when she used it was like you're going to die now button.
It was. It really was. And she used it like one.
Right.
My gut tells me it was 60-10, but that's just because even number.
Right. I think and here's the other question is, do we want to make it like the chieftain, where it can do, if we did the reduce the damage, would we want it to do to him or an ally, just like the chieftain, or just be on the user?
Well, if we did it just like the chieftain, then the chieftain wouldn't be special.
Well, that's how the chieftain is doing it, is through his weapon. It's through the symbolic weapon. And keep in mind,
Got it.
if you're gonna get this, you're gonna get it from the chieftain. Like, it's not just gonna be laying around.
You know what? Fair.
It is
Fair.
his weapon.
Yeah. I don't know then.
I'm just trying to think, like, player-wise. It'd be fun to have, like, maybe twice per long rest kind of a thing. And, well, I'd say, like, once or twice a day you can use it.
That sounds reasonable, I think.
You just get it back at dawn. I don't know. What do you think, Bentley?
I mean, I'd be fine if it were once or twice a day.
And then as far as, like, allow it to reach out to a friendly person within 30 feet, too, as a reaction. It's just like having a higher level intercept.
Yeah.
Well,
maybe. If it's able to go to an ally, I would say like once a day, maybe.
right.
I don't.
I think it should. Well, because I also don't want to like eliminate someone's thing like, oh, they took intercept to make them suddenly not feel. Well, then again, intercept they can just do as a reaction as many times as they want. So
Yeah.
and it's just within 5 feet. So never mind. And that's like a level 2 thing that they can get, or level 1 thing. So it wouldn't negate it. It's just it's no different than like getting a magic item that can give you lets you cast a spell. You know.
No.
Yeah. True.
Probably 3d6 plus. I think the chieftain did, what was it? 3d6 plus 4 for his charisma. Do you negate
Yeah.
3?
What? 3d6 plus 2?
Well, since it's limited use, rather than just a pure reaction thing, we could just do still keep it 3d6 plus 4.
That's true.
Either that or plus charisma.
Ooh.
Because you're attuned to it. Minimum of 1.
Yeah.
Or just give a base value, 3d6. So potential range option. The other thing, well, no. So extra 1d6 radiant. Should we make it a +1 weapon or a +2 weapon?
Well, what is it originally?
It doesn't say.
Oh.
Yeah. So +1 just means all your regular attacks, 2 hit will have an extra +1, and your damage will be an extra +1. So say, like for instance, Rakos right now, my weapon that I have is a +1. So rather than a +6 to hit, it's a +7 or whatever.
Okay. Well,
And then it adds an extra 1 damage.
it is a really rare thing. Maybe
Plus-
2.
+2, make it a +2 weapon. Because this is also, you're getting it from a challenge rating 14 creature, so. Or 13.
Mm-hmm.
So it definitely comes into play as well.
Yeah. That's true.
So +2 weapon. And you get your +1, +2. It does an extra 1d6 rated. Well, let's see. What does a... Let me pull up my browser real quick. There is a... Let me go to magic items. And then let's look at weapons. A typical +2 weapon. Let's see. Can't look at a lot of these because I don't have the books.
I returned though. Apologies. Okay. So, what ideas did y'all have for extra things this weapon could do?
Well,
It hits.
we were thinking of trying to. Right now, we're trying to decide if it would be a +1 or a +2 weapon. But we were thinking we could give it some of the abilities that the chieftain had. So, leaning towards doing the Spirit Shroud ability of like once or twice a day, can either you or a creature that you can see within 30 feet, you can negate damage by 3d6 plus 4 or whatever, just like the chieftain did. And then the other one is we could have it do like a ranged attack. However, with the ranged attack, if we did the exact same as what the chieftain does, it's already doing that on a maul. It's already doing 3d6 damage.
No, it would be lesser because the player wouldn't be the chieftain themselves.
Right, which is why we're trying to decide. I'm personally leaning towards the Spirit Shroud option, having like a damage negation thing. Just as a reaction. You can do it like twice a day, resets at dawn.
That would be really useful, yeah.
Let's see. Has charges, number of charges, how many? 2, 3?
2.
2 recharges at dawn. Let's see. Spirit collar, weapon. It's 2 charges that charge daily at dawn. What the? Okay. So we got when of this weapon takes damage, they
Well, we're
can
thinking,
use
what if they could also extend it to an ally within 30 feet?
when the wielder of this weapon takes damage,
Or an ally within 30 feet.
or a creature of their choice, then when the wielder of this weapon or a creature of their choice with oh my gosh, within 30 feet takes damage, they can use their reaction to expend 1 charge of the spirit color weapon to reduce the damage by... Basically, it was +4 because it was like the chieftain's
Charisma.
Chieftain's charisma. So it's just going to be
So it'd be 3d6 plus charisma.
no, just
Minimum of
3d6.
1.
Flat 3d6. Once again, they get a lesser version of it. It's the boss's version plus versus when you get the weapon.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, I mean, having limited uses is already enough of a downgrade.
Yeah, but you have to remember, this is a player using this on top of all of the things the player can already do.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. Works for me.
Okay, and there we go. That is basically it, and obviously we'll go in... Right. Support in battle is usually designed in a ceremonial Ceremonial fashion, varying greatly depending on the tribe it originated from. Some resemble large fish hooks, others harpoons, and some even depict anchors and sea creatures.
Nice.
And we can go like this. Spirit, color, weapon allows its wielder to... Spirit collar weapon allows its wielder to channel the energies of guardian spirits to inflict damage on their enemies and protect their allies. Color weapon deals an extra 1d6 radiant damage on top of the standard weapon damage. And then we can go like this. There we go. And
Okay.
does it get a does it get a plus hit modifier, +1 or +2?
Well, definitely.
Okay.
Question is which one?
I feel like
Plus
it's
1
a
or plus
very rare weapon.
I'm leaning towards +2.
I'm thinking +2 as well.
Because this, once again, this is being wielded by a CR-14 creature.
Yeah. Bonus
13.
to-
Oh yeah, that's right, 13. I just want to be right so bad, you know?
Well, too bad.
Bonus on... I don't think it is... No, it's not on here. Not under this, I believe. Is it... Magic base item type of weapon. Requirements version. Add a condition? No.
Wait, go under the modifier type again.
Weapon attack, range weapon attack, weapon property. Place damage side twice, proficiency, protection, stacking, bonus, set base, ignore weapon property, size, weapon mastery, enable feature, replace weapon ability.
There's damage. Click on damage real quick.
It's like damage type.
Melee weapon attacks. It gets a +1 or +2.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, 2.
But where would it be? Where would be the 2 hit?
Go up. Melee weapon attack.
Nope.
Nope. How about... no. Go up to the top again and go down a little bit slower. What's the bonus?
Bonus, ability checks, ability score, AC Dex modifier, acrobatics, animal handling, arcana, armor class, artificer stuff, bard stuff, athletics. Choose ability scores.
Yep, keep them down. Bunch of ability score stuff. Cleric spells. Extra attacks, applications.
Bunch of skills.
Melee attacks?
And I'm just gonna go like this. D&D Beyond how to make magic weapon +2. We use magic weapon spells. D&D Beyond how to add.
So we click on the top thing, it says help.
bonus.
How do I make homebrew that simply adds +2?
Modifier type bonus, modifier subtype strength attacks, fixed value, just says that I should give you +2 all strength attack rolls, but not damage. When you make a change, follow up by simply change on the top level of the item.
Yeah, because that will increase all the magic weapons. Or all the regular weapons, too.
Yeah, consider using magic subtype instead. Fixed value 2. Drop down bonus, second drop down magic. This gives you a +2 weapon. So,
Okay.
bonus,
Magic.
magic, fixed value 2. Okay.
I guess that makes sense. Having a +1, +2, that makes it magical.
Yeah, and let's see. Let's just go into Temel. Okay, inventory. Add in a spirit collar weapon, Maul. Add to equipment. Okay, so his strength is
+5.
+5.
And his proficiency is +3, so it did not add the to hit.
Did not add the 2 hit.
But did it add the damage?
No. 2d6 +5.
Okay, so he should be +7.
Now, this is really...
Oh yeah,
No.
strength attacks.
Nah.
Really, just click on damage. No, that's just in general, yeah. Hmm.
Magic bonus. Now, how did I do it on... Because I've done it before. So let's take a look at the Gorgon Smasher. This is Ardavon's weapon. Bonus magic 1. Okay, that is how it is. I think it's just not low.
Well, also do +1 rather than just...
No, every other thing, it's just 1, or if it's negative, then it's negative. It's automatically plus.
Okay. So maybe you gotta hit save changes first and like refresh.
Yeah, I think it's just doing that. But we do know that that is how you do it.
Cool.
Because yeah, if I go into the...
Oh wait, you're not attuned to it.
Oh, how do I...
Go to inventory. Go to inventory. And scroll down. There you go.
There. Oh, yep. +10 to hit. Perfect.
There you go. That's why.
Awesome.
You weren't attuned. It did work.
Okay, sweet. Alright, and then we can literally go and make a bunch of copies of...
Can you just copy the base thing rather than like going in and individually doing it? Can you just say, copy this, the whole item, and then go?
Yeah, I can make duplicates of the item and then change it.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, is there a way?
What are you trying to do?
Trying to see if I can throw on the extra damage. To be able to roll the 1d6 on here.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Click the damage button. Just like click it. Okay, cool. Yeah, it does it.
I mean, it has it under here. I guess it just...
Well, you would roll it under like conditions kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Extra 1d6.
So yeah, that's fine. There are certain spells that I think do that kind of same thing too. Like official things, so I think that's just how it be. Okay. Perfect. So we know it works. So we go like this, and
Let's see. Let me click on what's the flame weapon?
Flame Tongue.
Flame tongue. I'm gonna add it on here, and let's do flame tongue battle axe. I'll just put it in my equipment, and so that does an extra 2d6 fire damage, and is considered I considered a +2. Yeah, if you click on that, it does not add the flame damage to it.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the weapon sounds awesome.
Okay, Spirit Collar Weapon Pike. Alright, so we got a maul and a pike. What is another weapon that they would probably use. Spear.
War pick. For the fishhook.
War pick, yep.
Staff.
War pick. Quarterstaff.
Oh my goodness.
You could do a spear.
My phone's about to die, so I'm gonna have to hop off.
Alrighty. And
Sounds good.
I didn't
Thanks
even
for
realize
joining,
it was
though.
getting that low.
Yeah, we're trying.
And
Good to see ya.
spear.
Yeah, let me know how it goes.
Wait, before your phone dies, show us the ducks.
Oh, the ducks. We'll see if they're even
Quality content for D&D.
quality content. I'll have to unblur the background just a little bit.
No, a lot of it.
And then
Oops.
switch the camera. Need to change their water, but ducky.
Duckies.
Duck.
They're cute.
Duck.
I love ducks.
They're so goofy. I love them.
They are so goofy. They greet me every morning.
All right, well, have a good one.
Anyway,
Park
bye.
your phone.
Let me know
Bye.
how it goes.
Didn't save it. Didn't save the spear. Alright. Bye-bye.
Have a good night.
What am
No,
I?
she's frozen, or she needs to eat. Okay. No.
Yep.
She's-
No, she's just stonewalling us.
She's just
She's
staring
trying to
into our
intimidate me.
souls. There we go. Okay.
What are the? Because there's a big weapon list option.
I feel like
Go into one again. Let me just see some of these weapon options because there's a lot more than just the base.
so we got maul, pike, quarterstaff, and spear.
You could do a warhammer.
Because yeah, we want the weapons that are common in the Mur'sek commonly
Well, and
used.
it's also it's not only that. It's also it's the potential symbolic, like what they look like, what they are most related to. Kind of
yeah.
thing. So a warhammer is definitely a good one.
Yep. Warhammer. Save.
And then I do kind of want to see, like, what are the weapon options? Because it looked like there's a lot more than just your base one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There's a bunch, but they're honestly kind of unnecessary.
Well, I just want to see some of them. Because, like, some of them might be just, like, a interesting addition, you know? You might have to read them out, though, because I can only see the drop down on the Zoom.
Okay.
It's harder to read.
We have got anti-meta rifle, battle axe, blowgun, boomerang, club, the 3 different kinds of crossbows, dagger, dart, double-bladed scimitar, flail, glaive, great axe, great club, great sword, halberd, hand axe, javelin, lance, laser pistol, laser rifle, light hammer, longbow, longsword, mace, maul, morningstar, musket, net, pike, pistol, pistol automatic, quarterstaff, rapier, revolver, rifle automatic, rifle hunting, scimitar, semi-automatic pistol, short bow, short sword, shotgun, sickle, sling, spear, trident, warpick, warhammer, whip, yokelwa.
Trident would.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
a Trident. Trident is a good one.
I'll just keep reading though, because I know you're gonna ask
Yeah.
me again.
Yep.
Expanded rules. Hoopak range, critical roll, bad news, blunderbuss, hand mortar, musket, palm pistol, pepperbox pistol, humblewood, boarding axe, twin shot hand crossbow, MCDM, blaster, golden scythe, serrated saber, free league, axe, battle axe, hammer, heavy hammer, longsword, maddox, staff, sword. 1985 games. Don't even know what this is. Bellow flute, boat oar, boomerang, obojima, butterfly staff, candlemaker's club, dandelion spear, drive staff, fan, field spear, frying pan, iron tea kettle, lom dagger, nakadama bubble rod, secret stone sword, shepherd crook, shovel, tapper sack, umbrella, vaulter's axe, and vertebrae sword, and loot tabard. Claw, Magitech blunderbuss, Magitech musket, Magitech pistol, Magitech revolver, Magitech rifle, nunchaku, slingshot, tether hook, Tommy bow hand, Tommy bow heavy, Tommy bow light, and a twin blade.
All right, so I'm thinking definitely trident.
Yeah, trident is
and a Yikolwa as well.
I don't think they would use the Yikolwa.
I mean, it is a tribal weapon.
Yes, but Yikolwa, if I remember correctly, is African tribes, not so much Inuit type stuff. Because, yeah, we, Yikolwa... Yikolwa... Real life, I just want to see... Yeah, it's what is now South Africa. Completely different, culture would use these. I don't think the Yikolwa would work, because you want a lot more haft than blade, especially when it comes to fishing these things.
I mean, it's also symbolic. So it's like, and keep in mind, it's like, it's not, whatever this thing is, it's going to look like something else. It's just, it's doing the base stats of those things. Yeah,
but Yikolwa is also statistically identical to a spear, which we already have.
I thought it was more than a spear.
Nope, it is identical to a spear.
I think it's a 1d8.
No, it is 1d6, I believe.
Let's see.
Oh, you're right. It is 1d8. I stand corrected.
Yeah, so definitely a trident for sure. Definitely a trident.
So we've got maul, pike, quarterstaff, spear, trident, warhammer, warpick, and then we're adding the Yikolwa, and then I think we just do the great axe and battle axe, and that's it.
Yeah. It's a sling. No.
Somehow make the net into some legendary weapon.
Yes.
Well, this isn't the only weapon that we're going to be making.
True.
Because, so great axe and battle axe. Oh, this is so convenient.
We can make a...
I wish there was that option, though, for any weapon. Okay, and one more for the great axe, and then that's it.
And is it, can I see them in here? Or,
You should be able to.
Let me see.
If you're making it in one of my campaigns, and yeah.
Battle axe, maul, pike, quarterstaff, spear, trident, warhammer, warpick, Yikolwa.
Yep, and I just made the great axe. Okay.
Cool.
So,
I like it. Oh, this is fun. I love this.
All right. So now we're going to go in. There is another one that I want to do. Is create from scratch. So we are going to do Might of the Whaleborn. This one, I don't know what rarity it's going to be, but it's going to be a weapon. Base weapon is a pike. So it's a pike. And this is a large harpoon carved from bone, honed to a razor edge.
Razor serrated edge. A serrated razor.
Serrated. Is that not how you spell serrated?
I don't know. I'm gonna be honest.
S-E.
Oh, it's two
R
R's. It's two R's. That's why. I was like, what? Honed to a serrated edge. This.
I'm gonna be honest.
Massive
retarded.
Spear. This massive spear. This massive spear.
I would
Or I would say, despite
should definitely have a strength requirement to
its
use.
size. Yeah, despite its size, it is surprisingly lightweight and can glide just as easily through water as it can air. Possibly wielded by a Mur'sek, whaleborn of the past. The runes. Compromise Honda serrated edge. Rated
Nope,
edge.
you don't get a set on my
Runes
keyboard.
Covered. Intricate runes adorning the length of the ivory shaft. Right. Possibly wielded by a Mur'sek whaleborn of the past. The runes carry latent magics that grant the wielder a portion of its of the old hunter's prowess. Okay. So rarity, let's make it rare for now. Alright.
Okay.
So what it's going to do is it is going to be able to. So let's go bonus magic. It is a +1 weapon. It also let's see. Also, bonus. Let's see. Gives you 30 foot, adds 30 foot to swimming speed. Or should it be 20 feet? Because the whaleborn get an extra 20 on top of their base. Let's do 20.
So they get half their movement and 20?
What?
So, that's what is it just, you get a 20-foot swim speed, or is it half their movement plus 20 feet?
If your speed was 30, you'd only be able to do 25 in total, because even if you move the 20 feet, if you swam the 20 feet, you would still only have 10 foot of your walking speed left, because you moved that 20 feet.
Right, so just, so it just, like, alright, cool, now I got a 20-foot swim speed.
Yep.
It is.
Yep, cool. 20 foot swim speed now.
And then if you're a race that already has the swim speed, it will just
Then
add an
you
extra
get
20.
add an extra 20.
Okay. I like it.
Basically, if you have, it uses, so let's say you had a 30-foot walking and a 50-foot swim speed. If you were to swim 30 feet, you'd have 0 walking speed left. But you'd still have 20 more swim speed left. So it's like if you have a walking speed and if you have a 30-foot walking speed and a 50-foot swim speed, you can move a maximum of 50 feet without taking the dash action. You can move a maximum of 50 feet, but only 30 of that feet can be walking speed.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So say I walk 30 feet to the edge of the water, and then I can swim another 20 feet.
Yep.
But if I'm nowhere near water, I can only move 30 feet.
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So your highest speed is your maximum movement you can do. And then if you have other speeds that are lower, you can move up to that speed. So a walk speed of 60 and a climb speed of 30. You can move up to 60 feet, but only 30 of those feet can be climbing.
So let's say I have this weapon, but through feats and stuff like that, I have a 50-foot walk speed, but now I got 20-foot swim. Does that mean, let's say I'm in water, so I could move the 20 feet, and then I would have 30 feet left over of walking speed that I could go at half? So I could move
because it would be like difficult.
35?
I believe so, because it would be like difficult terrain. That's how.
Man, that's some complicated math.
Yeah, that's how I would rule it as the DM. That's how I would rule it as the DM, because...
Did we just do a flat 30 so it's a little more consistent?
No. Because because the Whaleborn get an extra 20 swim speed on top of what they have naturally.
Right. I do think this weapon should have a strength requirement for how big it is. Minimum. You said that it's surprisingly lightweight, though. So I would say you have to have 14 strength.
Well, the thing is it doesn't require it, because for it's already a pike, so it has the heavy weapon property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which remind me. I have it up. I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Let me see. Heavy. Small creatures have disadvantage on attack rolls with heavy weapons. A heavy weapon's size and bulk make it too large for a small creature to use effectively. So only a medium. It doesn't say anything about the strength.
I'm literally reading it right now. Heavy. You have disadvantage on attack rolls if with a heavy weapon, if it's a melee weapon, and your strength score isn't at least 13. Or if it's a ranged weapon and your dexterity score isn't at least 13. So it already it has a built-in requirement.
This site just doesn't say that.
Yeah. Well, are you on the Wikidot?
No, I'm on the Roll20. It's one that I have pulled out just for a quick glance of a list of stuff.
But yeah, so it already has that requirement. Because the thing is, for a Whaleborn, it's a normal size spear that it can wield in one hand, if it really wants to.
Right.
But for everybody else, that's a pike.
It's a pike.
And a pretty big one at that. So it already has that built in.
Should it have an increased reach? An extra 5 feet?
Nah.
Pikes already have reach.
Yeah. And then I want to see if it can do this.
Heavy reach, two-handed,
No.
so just 1d10 piercing.
Modifier, and it also, I want to give it a... I'll just, okay. Favored enemy against... Okay, no, it's not that. Advantage on...
What is it you're trying to do so I can help?
Advantage on attacks on melee attack rolls against I was gonna say against creatures with a swim speed. But I don't know. I'll probably just put that in the description, not something.
Well, so if you look at the flame tongue, it says 2d6 when lit.
That'd be chosen creatures against target. Okay.
Yeah, so just
Against creatures with a swim speed. Against creatures with a swim speed. Awesome.
does that include water gymnasty?
Do they have a swim speed?
Yeah,
Then yes.
I like that.
Swim speed against creatures with a swim speed when in water.
Oh, only in water.
Yeah. So you're actually safer from this thing if you suck at swimming.
An interesting little nature
Okay,
thing.
so it's got that. And the one other thing I wanted it to give you, because it's a whaleborn, not just any Mur'sek, because it's a whaleborn weapon, I want it to give you... Let's see, set... Nope. Is it, would it be under sense? No.
Wait, I wonder if the no, that wouldn't work. That would override the swim speed instead of add to it.
Yeah, weapon, property, high proficiency, favored enemy, nor stacking bonus, set base, ignore weapon property, size, weapon mastery. Okay, it wouldn't be under here. This one would just go into the text.
Or what are you trying to do?
It lets you breathe underwater.
Okay. Bonus magic, bonus speed, swimming, advantage, melee attacks. Plus 20 swim speed.
Yeah, so you get that. Gain advantage on attack rolls with this weapon against creatures that have a swim speed, so long as you are and flee in water.
In any. What if you're in any liquid? So you're in lava.
No, but I feel like if you're like in waist deep water, that should still kind of count, even if you're not actively swimming. Like, or if it's raining, I feel like you should let the DM interpret that a little bit, because I feel like during a rainstorm that would be cool. You're fighting a water genasi in a rainstorm. Hey, guess who has advantage against you?
Including weather conditions.
No, it's just currently in water. Leave it up to interpretation.
Yeah, we definitely want the party to argue.
Yep.
There we go. It's such a niche little weapon, but if you're just depends on if you're doing water-based stuff or not.
Yeah.
You can breathe underwater.
And he said it's a +1 weapon, right?
Yep. +1 to attack and damage rolls with this weapon. Boom. Might of the Whaleborn.
I like it.
Okay. I think that's where we're going to end it, because it's about 8 o'clock. We have done a lot of work on this.
Oh, I'm having so much fun with these people. I
Yep.
like them a lot.
And now you want to play one?
Yes. Very much so.
I don't want to play one, but I want to run into some.
I want to go kill a chieftain and get them all. It's just a giant anchor.
I think that would probably be a battle axe or great
I
axe.
don't want to fight them.
I want to be their friends, gain their favor, and be gifted the mall.
Exactly.
I'm saying I want Reikos to be gifted that mall.
That's a
giant
very
anchor
rare,
on a stick.
very rare thing. But they do live in Tiervis. That is where some of them are. I mean, honestly, they can be found just about anywhere. But, like, their traditional villages and stuff are probably in Tiervis and Trustlet are where they're mostly at. As well as around Alishkar in the warmer climates. Because, you know, that's where most of the beast folk live.
Right.
But here we go. Okay. Thank you to everybody who tuned in, lurking or otherwise. If you want to support us in making even more stuff and much more often, you can support us on Patreon. You'll get a couple really cool benefits, such as exclusive Discord access. You might be able to play some games with us and everything like that. And at the highest tier, you'll get a permanent discount on literally everything in our merch store. So if that's something you're interested in, feel free to support us on there. A huge shout out to Tabletop Audio for allowing us to use their incredible background audio, and of course, thank you to our wonderful patrons at the Paragon tier, which is our highest tier, D4Fan and Brennan. We hugely appreciate your support. It really helps offset a lot of the time that we spend making this stuff, so it helps out immensely. So thank you for showing such insane generosity to us. We really appreciate it. But I think that is going to be all from us. So thank you all for your support, and we will see y'all later. Bye-bye.